nearly 25% of India will become sandy in the next 10 to 15 years' time. By 2030, it is expected 25% of India will be not cultivable. I was in California and all the rice there is from Thailand. I asked, why are you not getting Indian rice? They didn't know. Then I inquired around, why are you not getting Indian rice? We know how to grow rice in India. Then I went about asking. Then somebody who knows this matter told me, Sadhguru, Indian rice has no nutrients in it. There's nothing in it except starch. There is nothing in the Indian rice. So in America, we don't want Indian rice because it doesn't have any nutrients. I said, what happened to our rice? When we asked them, they're laughing at us. They all came to India about 21, 22 years ago. They studied in that… what's that in Delhi, there's an agro institute. They studied in that institute. They said, we studied there, we went back and put our knowledge into the land. Your people just earn PhDs.
I just wanted to know, you have mentioned a lot about planting trees to save rivers, and for most of the environmental issues, planting trees is one of the most important jobs that we have to do in today's world. So, how do you know all these details? Like, being an agriculturist, I want to know, how did you get this experience with the trees and plants and…
Right from my birth, I lived on this planet. Do I look like I came from somewhere? No, this is how men are supposed to look. Some men have modified themselves, but this is how a man is supposed to look. This is not from Mars, this is on this planet, okay? This grows on this planet, you know. So as this grows on this planet, plants and trees also grow on this planet. Unfortunately, today our education system has become like this. We think everything, every damn thing that you need to know in your life is in a book. If you think everything is in a book, you are a religious person. You are not a student, you are not an agriculturist, because these farmers know more about agriculture than somebody who's done PhD in agriculture. They never read a book on agriculture, they lived here, so they know. Similarly, I lived here, I lived on the land, I spent a lot of time in the jungles in Western Ghats. Well, once I rode down and floated down Kaveri from Bhagamandla on just about 6 or 8 bamboos and 4 truck tubes. I just floated down for 13 days. So I know the river very well, where it is… there is sufficient water coming in, where it is just being used, where it's being contributed to, where it is being exploited is very clear if you just go down the river. You must do this. But today you have all kinds of dinghies and boats and everything, you can use something better than me, I only had 4 truck tubes. But you can use something better and you must just float down Kaveri once, observing, not just quickly on a speedboat, slowly, taking 10-15 days, you will understand how a river is made. What makes a river? It's not some kind of science that you read in a book. It is here if you pay attention, it's all here. So, because I'll finish this today itself because tomorrow I want to behave like a good student in the school, my old teachers are there coming. I went to school only when it was absolutely necessary. I made myself so nondescript most of the time so that nobody would notice whether I'm there or not there. So mostly they did not notice both in school and college. So I spent a lot of time initially riding on a on a bicycle, then on a scooter, then on a motorcycle. Then motorcycle powered me up to ride across the country many times. So, I know the land well. If you feel the land You know what the land needs for its well-being. It doesn't take a genius to understand that if you watch these in different seasons, this green leaf will turn brown and fall down. Where does it go? Not one or two, millions of tons of leaves are falling down. Where does it go? That's the soil, that's the richness of the soil. And millions of animals, wild and otherwise, all of them shit. Hello? Where does it go? That is the soil. Without leaf and human also, human and animal excrement, there is no soil. Soil will become sand. So minimum, the United Nations says this, I don't agree with this. United Nations says, for soil to be called as soil, there must be at least 2% organic content. You ask the farmer who puts his… you must see how the farmers with what joy they put their hand into soil mixed with manure and say, wow, it's so rich. You ask them how much should be the percentage. If it is 5 to 8%, you will see just about anything grows. But today trees are gone, animals are going to Saudi Arabia. How do you enrich the soil? How? Nearly 25% of India will become sandy in the next 10 to 15 years' time. By 2030, it is expected 25% of India will be not cultivable. So all of you young people who are studying agriculture, I know some of you have to go into government jobs or whatever research and this and that, but too much research and not enough science going into action is no good. As a part of Rally for Rivers, we invited some farmers experts from Vietnam. Vietnam is exporting nearly $3 billion worth of fruit. It's a small country compared to who we are. And all this started only about 10 to 15 years ago. Their fruit quality is much better than ours. Their rice quality is much better than ours. I was in California and all the rice there is from Thailand. I asked, why are you not getting Indian rice? They didn't know. Then I inquired around, why are you not getting Indian rice? We know how to grow rice in India. Then I went about asking. Then somebody who knows this matter told me, Sadhguru, Indian rice has no nutrients in it. There's nothing in it except starch. There is nothing in the Indian rice. So in America, we don't want Indian rice because it doesn't have any nutrients. I said, what happened to our rice? Well, we grow rice on urea, not on a rich soil. So they are getting rice only from Thailand. Now these Vietnamese experts came, we made small experiments with small groups of farmers. We have multiplied their income somewhere between 3 to 8 times. We thought this is a great achievement. But when they came and we asked them, they said in the last 6 years, they have multiplied their farmers' income 20 times over. This is unbelievable. How can you do 20 times over? When we asked them, they're laughing at us. They all came to India about 21, 22 years ago. They studied in that… what's that in Delhi, there's an agro institute? They studied in that institute. They said, we studied there, we went back and put our knowledge into the land. Your people just earn PhDs. We put it into the land and this is what happened to us. They came here and studied and there they made it happen. We have the knowledge, we have the technology, we have the people, we just don't have a sense. Sense is missing in us. This sense, I want the young people who are doing agriculture to bring it back. You must bring this science that you're studying back into the land, not as a service. This can be a great enterprise. Why I'm saying this is, in terms of latitudinal spread, from Kanyakumari to Himalayas if you see, we have enough latitude in terms of weather patterns, temperatures, rain, everything. We can grow almost anything that anybody grows anywhere on this planet, 12 months of the year. Very few nations in this world can do 12 months agriculture. This is one of those fortunate countries. But today our farmers are committing suicide simply because ad hoc we are doing things. Everything is ad hoc, nothing is planned, nothing is organized, the scale is not there in anything. This is something you can do, we have gotten this going with the government, we changed some of the laws. Yeah. People can go out and form farmer-producer organizations and aggregate 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 farmers depending on your capacity. And if you aggregate irrigation and aggregate marketing and the farmer just does farming, you will make a miracle happen in this country. Right now the problem is he cannot invest in technology because the scale is very small, just 2 acres, 3 acres holdings. With that kind of holding, you can't invest in a big way. Everybody takes loan, everybody puts borewell, everybody has micro irrigation, which fails anyway after 1 year. Once the subsidy comes, the micro irrigation fails. It can only be managed if there is scale. If we put 1,000, 2,000 acres together, then we can create a scale. This is something young people should take it as an enterprise, it'll be very lucrative and it's very important agriculture is lucrative. If you make a survey right now, you ask these farmers and see how many of them want their children to go into farming. Believe me, it is somewhere between 2 to 5%, not more. This means in the next 20 to 25 years, when this generation passes, we would have lost all ability to grow food. With 1.3 billion people on our hands, if you lose your ability to grow food, you can imagine the disaster you will cause in this country. You're not Dubai or something, you will buy everything from all over the world and eat it here. It's not going to work like that for India. Unless we grow our food, we are finished. But we are heading that way because a child cannot even go to the farm. If a farmer's son goes to his farm along with his father, father will be arrested as child labor. On child labor charges, the father will be arrested because he took his 8-year-old son to his farm and both of them are working. With this kind of stupid approach, there is no future for Indian agriculture. We are trying to change this now. Education policy we are working on, because without changing the education policy, we cannot change the situation of the farmer. So, already government has announced that only 50% of the time in a school, if children are there for 7 hours, only 3.5 hours will be focused on academics, another 3.5 hours they will do sport, agriculture, arts, crafts, music. See, if the way these people are singing, just a small bunch left, there was a time when the entire village could sing. Now just a small bunch left. Do you think their children are also going to learn this music? No, they're software engineers in Bangalore, already, most probably. I'm saying, we've gotten into this madness, what one person does, everybody must do. It is time that agriculture becomes a prime activity in this country and a lucrative activity. If you don't make it very, very lucrative process, in the next 25 years, we will lose our ability to grow food in this country. This is something that must happen. So, those of you who are in this agriculture and horticulture, particularly horticulture becomes very, very important. If we want to save this land, why this becomes a problem is, the population and land, the proportions that we have is very unnatural proportion. With this kind of population, if you want to maintain the quality of this land, more food should come from the trees. Very, very important. This scratching the earth and growing one crop every 3 months is not going to work for us long term. It's very, very important that more food, a lot more food needs to come from the trees. That means horticulture becomes prime. I want you… maybe you've not seen, but if you fly from Mysore city to, let's say, Delhi, you just keep looking down. Except for the Western Ghats, you will see the entire country looks like a brown desert. There is no greenery, there are no water bodies. Most of the rivers that you see along the way are only sand rivers. When we were doing Rally for Rivers, when we asked children to draw or paint rivers, you won't believe most of them painted sand because they have not seen a river flowing full with water, they have not seen. There is a video which went viral, this one Marathi girl in, near Mumbai. I wish we had something to show you. But this girl, she can speak only Marathi. She gave a speech, 20-minute speech, without any paper, nothing. So passionately she spoke. This Sadhguru is saying he's going to revive the rivers, this, that, he talks about a river where he floated out. I don't believe all this. I've never even seen a river on which I can float. The way she spoke, this is the future generation, they've not seen a river. We made a survey in Coimbatore city and we found 80% of the people below 20 years of age have not seen a river in their life. They've seen it only in the movies or in the pictures. How many of you, this is the first time you're near a river? Being in Karnataka, that should not be the case, but it could be true in Bangalore city. Bangalore city had 1,000 lakes and 3 perennial rivers in the city. Today there are 81, 42 of them are just sewage. And the 3 rivers, nobody is able to trace where they are. They're just gone, maybe your house is sitting on it, maybe there's a shopping mall where we are happy. So, if we don't act now as a generation of people, this land, which has nurtured thousands of years of culture and civilization, will go through tremendous upheavals in the coming decades if we don't take the right action. Right now we are pushing towards this. I want all of you to be a part of it in some way, in whichever way you can.